Dimp Digital presents Idle Game Chat.
Cool.
So, Logan, I skipped this subject on the last edition because we ran out of time, but Chrissy Dring putting in the effort of doing European sales data collation for September of 2023. It got to the back end of it and I was like, there ain't time for this, but predicting this might be a bit of a slow week as well, I thought I'll hold it back. It's still relevant data. It's already out of date anyway by the time Dring gets it out. 3 or 4 weeks out, but I thought an extra week's not going to do any damage. So September 2023, this is for the European markets. Here's the top 10. We'll do that first. EA Sports FC 24. So unsurprising in this market, that's number 1. Number 2 is Starfield Game Pass release. NBA 2K24. The Crew Motorfest rules in at number 4. Mortal Kombat 1 at number 5, Payday 3 number 6, GTA 5 at 7, Red Dead Redemption 2 at 8, Titanfall 2 at 9, and then Hogwarts Legacy still in the top 10. So that's the high-end numbers. Interestingly, here's some of the analysis that Dring did. I didn't do any of this, so if it's wrong, go to him. Chrissy Dring at gamesindustry.biz. EA Sports 24. Sales down 10% compared to FIFA 23. Now, what he did caveat that he's saying is that FIFA 23 was an unusually high launch month, and it was actually only down 3.7% when compared to FIFA 22. So 23 was a strong one, 22 is more accurate, but still a little bit down. I think we've speculated that it probably was going to lose a little bit of momentum, but that's not all that significant, really. I don't believe.
Doesn't feel it, does it?
No. NBA 2K24, so another yearly release, down 17% on the 23 version. So that always gets shit on, it seems. Consistently.
Wasn't that shit anyway?
Well, I don't think so. If you like basketball, it's all you've got. So it's always got that advantage that it's basically got their audience captive. But my understanding of the monetization is that it's utterly dreadful. Like.
Yeah.
Even the likes of Hall complain about it, and he's happy to throw away money down that casino left, right, and centre. And like the career mode is tied into building up your character, which almost requires you to buy microtransaction and loot boxes to level up. And yeah, it's just a shit show in general. Here's another interesting.
Stick a bit then.
Well, yeah, but then if that's the only game in town, what do you do? If you love basketball, you kind of cap in hand, didn't you? And you're like, well.
Yeah.
I'm not going to go back to NBA Jam.
I was literally just about to say NBA Jam, get back.
Well, that's all you've got, unfortunately. I think that is one of the trouble with sports, and it seems to be more common with American franchise sports because they're not really worldwide sports. Like basketball is NBA, the MLB is.
Craps
MLB?
on it.
No, what is it? No, it's NBA, isn't it? National Basket. MLB's the.
Baseball.
Major League Baseball, but they tend to, and it's not always the case, sign exclusive contracts with set publishers and developers to have the rights of that, that league. Whereas football does have the advantage of just being a world sport, and you can get the licenses a la carte. Now, obviously, EA lost the FIFA name, but they still have most of the players in the leagues that they had before. In fact, I don't think they've lost any from that deal at all. It's just separate licensing. Whereas the American sports tend to be like Madden, for example, I think that's exclusively signed to EA. So your NFL fix is always going to come from that area. So if they're doing a shit job, it's crapped in trousers time, isn't it? It's like when bloody Star Wars signed that exclusive deal with fucking EA. Do you remember? Like 10 years ago. And everyone went, well, what are you doing here? And we got Battlefront, sorry.
Yeah.
And then Battlefront 2, everyone went, well, what are you doing? Anyway, that's all expired now, but...
Worked out in the end, though.
Yeah, but it took like 8 years of the 10-year exclusivity window to get Star Wars
like
falling.
Battlefront wasn't. I mean, it's a reskinned Battlefield, right? But
No.
Yeah.
They crapped on it with Battlefield 2 with all those fucking microtransactions again. Loot box
sorry,
hell.
Yeah, they
That's
did,
what done it, really. I mean, the first one of them was sort of like, well, it is what it is. There's no campaign here. It had that old controversy that normally pops up. But everyone kind of just shrugged their shoulders and went, oh, it's good fun. Battlefield 2 come along and it was just diabolical leveling system and heavy monetization. They did rip it all out eventually, but the damage was done at that point.
Yeah. But I think, to be fair, what they've done with it overall, and I think as a first concept, Battlefront was good. And I think, and I maintain that it's probably still good. I've been back to it in the past few years and played it again and enjoyed it. Like, it is a good way to enjoy
Go and
Star
play
Wars.
Fallen Order and be done with it.
No, you see, look, this is the difference, though. It's like, the problem is that there was a portion of the community that were like, oh, but we want one of these like old school style ones. We didn't want this big. And it's like, well, I didn't want the single player, so stick out your ass. Ain't going to please everyone.
Anyway, they shouldn't be doing this exclusive to it. Especially for something like Star Wars, where there's so many
competition.
Yeah, and but Star Wars in particular, like, you think how many genres you could do with that. You could do all manner of games.
Mobile game.
You could do real-time strategy games. You can do action-adventure games they've done, first-person shooters, flying games, whatever you call them, like air combat games. Like, it's just so much you could do in that. So
they've done them all, though. They have done them all, EA.
Yeah, they're all...
They've ticked all the boxes, so...
Well...
But they're not the... I mean, I don't particularly like the ones that they did with this what's he called? Fallen Order, and the one before it. Didn't like it.
Did you play it?
Nah, don't like it.
It's like Uncharted, but for Star Wars. What are you playing at?
Not though, really.
Well,
it's not.
It's on Game Pass. Get your hands on it, and you'll be like, oh, I can use this lightsaber.
I have tried it, haven't I?
Well, I don't know. You try a lot of things and then bin it, and then come back to it 3 years later, capping it and going, "Oh, I'm sorry. I've fixed my sin, and I've done Spider-Man now. I've done God of War. Please." Begging for forgiveness. So you obviously make errors in that initial playthrough.
I think it's unfair to lump this Star Wars in with Spider-Man and God of War.
I quite liked it. Anyway, Starfield's first 4 weeks on sale are 13% lower than Forza Horizon 5. That's surprising to me, sales-wise.
It feels like there's a general everything is a step below, though. Like, if doesn't it? Is that everything's lower?
Well, no. I mean, we'll get to the next one. You'll see it's not lower. But I'm saying that I'm surprised. Well, that proves that Forza Horizon 5 is hugely popular in the Xbox and PC community, but also because Starfield, which arguably was their biggest pop that they're going to get for a little while. That was like the generational game. And on the sales front, didn't even pip out Forza Horizon 5. So that might be the true gem in the Xbox portfolio, Forza Horizon.
What a damning indictment. I don't know. I feel a bit bad on Forza Horizon because it is really good. Like,
it is good, but it is nerds' first car game, innit? It's made for these sweaty nerds that can't be getting on the real tracks. That's what it's made for. And if they accept they're losers for playing it, I've got no problem with them. But they're all out here go, ooh. But no,
It's that word, isn't it? It's arcade. No one likes it. It gets looked down the nose at.
There, if you want to play your nerds car game, go off and fill your boots with Forza Horizon. That's what it's there for. The Crew Motorfest, funnily enough, is the next game on this little bit of analysis from Chrissy Dring. That was up 6.5% compared to the Crew 2, which was released in 2018. Now, you have to forgive me for thinking that I thought the Crew was a dead franchise. So really, after the second one, the only way's down in terms of sales and performance. But bloody hell. I mean, it's 6.5%. It's not a 50% increase, but they're still trending in the opposite direction that I would have... If you said to me, make a bet on that, I'd go, well, it's going to go down, isn't it? So maybe the Crew Motorfest's got some legs.
I don't know. I think we're still scarred from that
beta
that we played and never went back.
It absolutely was that, and I was like, well, I don't care for this, and that was it.
What was it about that? Was it? I felt like slow and sluggish. And...
The cars to me felt like they were like stuck to the track or to the road rather, because it wasn't really tracks, and that it was very rigid. Didn't feel very. I don't know. I always felt like if I went over a bump, I'd immediately be sucked down to the floor.
Yeah.
But it
It had
just
that typical Ubisoft falling mechanic problem, didn't it?
it did. And then there was the whole story thing where it's about a revenge story, and everyone was a bit like, "Well, it's a car game, mate. What are we getting involved with all this personal stuff for?"
Rich backstory.
Yeah, I mean, fair enough, but you've got to deliver on it, haven't you? You've got to make the rich backstory good, and it just seemed a bit out of place. But look, the Crew Motorfest, sorry, proved me wrong. That's trending upwards, at least
I didn't
initially.
even know they'd released another one.
Well, that's
to be honest.
to be honest, I wasn't really tracking it. I knew it was around,
No.
but I was thinking, well, that's dead in the water, basically. And it may well be dead in the water. It might not be enough for Ubisoft, but as I said, you asked me after the Crew 2 what the third iteration of that game would do. I'll say worse, not better, and hasn't. Didn't exactly release in a quiet month either. Look, you've got NBA, fucking EA Sports FC, the Crew, Starfield. Mortal Kombat's the next one. So there's a lot of games that came out in this period.
Yeah.
So to get up on the trends of sales is good. Mortal Kombat 1 almost 39% down compared to Mortal Kombat 11, which was in 2019. So that's a howler, innit? You get that. Alan gets that back in the boardroom and goes, "What on earth has happened there?" And Ed Boon's like, "I don't know." They all the critics loved it, but you've got a 40% decline there. Caught out, fatigue.
The thing is, I kind of feel like anything between 2019, probably not 2019 to be fair, but at least 2020, and like the next sort of 2 to 3 years is almost
Artificial
unreliable
inflated.
data.
Yeah,
because people had more money.
Had more time, mostly.
Well, they had more time. Some people had more money because they didn't have. They simply didn't have other things to spend it on, like holidays and days out and all that stuff.
You're getting these furlough payments for people, and you look at some of the sums being handed over there.
Yeah, and you know,
some of these people hadn't made that in 2 years, and then it's just been handed over to them. Hello,
cooking the books.
Where's that inflation come from?
Well, that's another topic we can. Digital finance. So
get it all out into cash and then just deal with it that way. Put it under your bed. Don't deal with it. Because they'll only take it off you if you don't do that.
Yeah, I mean, there is that argument that as soon as it gets put into the system, they know it's there.
Yeah, they will come knocking for it.
And Rishi will want his part. So yeah, people had more money and stuff. And to be fair, like 2019 was obviously prior to that. But
yeah,
the thing is, the trouble with all this data that I have is if you look at it in isolation and go, well, back to 4 years, like what else was out 4 years ago? Like what? It's a tricky thing to contextualize, and I guess that's what they have to do when they take the data back to the boards. Is go, well, why are we 40% down? And you've got someone scrabbling around with PowerPoint presentations contextualizing exactly why that is. But it's interesting to hear that because you'd have expected that most people that went for Mortal Kombat 11 would have been ready and raring to go a few years later for a new entry, a reboot nonetheless.
I wonder whether because it's come out after Street Fighter 6 this year, and I know people are loyal to certain brands. There's some people that love Tekken, there's some people that love Mortal Kombat, there's some people that love Street Fighter, and they won't deviate. But I know there's a lot of people that probably just buy the newest one, try that, and go, oh, I like this, and stick with that for a year or so, or maybe even longer. Maybe they stick with that for the generation. I do wonder whether Street Fighter 6 coming out early this year got the mind share, got people invested into that, fighting platform, people going online, doing the online rankings or whatever they do competitively, and they're like, I don't need another one. Because it's not just drag and drop your skill set. You've invested time in learning how Street Fighter 6 works. So I do wonder if it's the timing thing. And I'll be interested to see what Tekken does next year, because these are the three big players in the fighting game space, and they're coming out in within a year of each other, all three of them. So they're all treading on each other's toes. It really is. They should do some sort of triple threat between all three of them. Get the best three characters and players from each of the games. Create some sort of unified fighting platform which lets all three of them come in and say, right, have at it. Who's the true king? Otherwise, you get into all the boxing with this, didn't you? There's like 15 world champions. You're like, hang on, who's the actual champ here? But that's my theory, is that perhaps Street Fighter 6 has stolen some of that and retained it, and people are like, I don't need another fighting game just yet.
40%?
That's a lot in it. That's one where you
Yeah.
see that and go, cool. That's. I mean, look, we're
Right,
talking about the 10%. That's not great. Talking about 6.5 up. That's good, but not a problem. 40% is kind of like, well,
it's a shitload. There's no two ways about it. That's a shitload of numbers. But yeah, it's just strange, isn't it, for a game like that? Because it's like, surely if I was playing one of those games, I'd be loyal to it because that's where I've invested my time. In the same way that, Football Manager, I ain't just going to go and play another one just because it's out before. I'd go, no thanks.
I'll play Championship Manager this year.
Yeah, and then I wouldn't do that. Like I don't know, maybe it's a different ecosystem, whatever you want to call it. Maybe people aren't as precious about it. They just want to play the new fighting game. And probably people who like fighting games would play different ones anyway. I could probably see a bit of that. Yeah. But if I was one of the hardcore Mortal Kombaters, I'd still be going back for it. I expect. Unless the previous one was real shit.
I don't think that's the case at all. I think they've all been really well received for at least the last 2 or 3 entries, so there's no reason for that. Like I said, it was probably an unusually busy month because you had the Crew, NBA, Starfield, FIFA / EA Sports FC, plus any manner of other that's coming down the pipe.
Yeah,
and that's something to keep an eye on. Hardware sales. This is the PS5, Switch, and Xbox Series. Switch sales down 28%. I mean, the fact that it's even below 50%, considering how old that thing is a marvel in itself, that people are still buying it. So, fair enough for them. PS5 sales up 175% compared to September of 2022. So, year on year, that's a huge increase. That's the same for Switch, sorry. That was September 2022. Xbox Series X had their big Starfield game release, the big console seller, I was told. Down 35% for the S and X. What's going on there? How can that be when you've just had arguably your biggest game of the generation and people are like,
I was literally just thinking to myself, here we go. And I was expecting those numbers between PS5 and Xbox to be reversed.
Right. No. Sony released nothing! Literally nothing. They sat there thumb up arse.
Unless people are getting ahead of the game for Spider-Man.
Maybe. I think there was a Spider-Man special edition out, but generally
weird,
I think every time we do this, they're up like ridiculous numbers. So something's going on. There's a momentum there. But I was quite surprised at the Xbox numbers because this time last year in particular, they had like pretty much a barren year. I'm
literally trying to think what they released. Like
Pentiment and Grounded.
Yeah.
So nothing to really to go out and buy the box for. This genuinely had a game that if you're interested in, have at it. Now I know they've got cloud, but I believe that makes up like less than 1% of their base. It's child's play. I know they've got PC as well. Yeah, PC is, and that's the most played market for Starfield.
Yeah.
But still, unless they had a really exceptional September 2022 that was out of the norm for what they'd released.
Yeah,
that's surprising.
Yeah, it is.
It's a console exclusive.
Can't even speculate. I mean, it's a good point to make the PC one because that's a big market that they already have access to. Obviously, that PlayStation don't. But
PlayStation do it different, don't they? They port them years later and try and catch it that way. So they access it, but in a different way. And I'll be fascinated to see whether there's a way of measuring what would be more successful for them. Like, would a day and date release of Spider-Man on PC just rocket the numbers? Even I would think that's the best way to do it, but they want to maintain that separation at least initially, so that these PS5 sales can still go up 175% year on year.
Yeah, I mean, it feels like they want to direct people and give you a benefit for having a PlayStation. They don't want to seep into that competition, I guess, with the PC crowd on Xbox. They're like, no, we'll keep that console exclusive at least for a period of time, and then once we've got our maximum out of that, we'll give it to the PC mob, and that also gives them a chance to properly optimize it. That's probably the way that they've thought about it.
One thing to keep in mind about the Xbox Series X is that it has had a price increase. So, wonder if that put people off. They were like, "Well, it's not as cheap as it was last year, perhaps." But I don't know. People, it's not.
I think it's as cheap as it was last year. So
no, exactly, and people don't just stop buying things for that. They absolutely do. But that is worth factoring in. That perhaps that is because this is units sold, not necessarily revenue. So you can't offset the revenue loss because it's not tracked here. However, Microsoft did release some. I think it was the first quarter stats. So they do weird quarters. These businesses I've found they don't really be sticking to. This is Q1. Which ran until the end of September. I don't know what they're playing at there. I don't know what sort of year Q1. So that would start when? August, July?
what?
July, August, September is their Q1, I think. What's that all about?
I don't know.
Who's cooking the books for that? What's going on there? What are they up to?
I don't.
What is
I
that?
Can't even, I don't know. I've no idea.
There's a lot of firms that do it. It's not just Microsoft. There are a lot of firms, when you look at their Q1, it starts in like October. Like, what are you doing?
I don't know. I can never...
Fiscal year.
It's like my workplace. Your performance year is October to October.
Right.
So you get to this time, they go, right, well done, Chris. And you go, well, I've still got 2 months here to deliver. They go, no, that's next year. It's like, well, I don't be understanding this.
No. Anyway... Their overall revenue, Xbox Gaming, so this is the one that Alan cares about, 9% up. So that's good news. Their hardware revenue, so this is revenue, not units sold, this is where it's slightly different, was down 7%. And that kind of lines up with the drop off we had for the European sales market. This is their overall performance we're talking about now. But it's still a trend of their hardware just falling off a little bit. And it feels like to me, and then we've said this before and sort of let them off the hook saying, well, their generation's really starting now in terms of the software. Like the Activision Blizzard King deal's closed, Starfield's out, they've got a pipeline of games that they're looking to get out, and yet the revenue is not really picked up or been picking up. And it's only 3 years into it. Is there concerns if you're a console Xbox player that Microsoft might... At some point, I'm not saying they're going to shut the Xbox. That's clearly not going to happen. But they may say, look, we're seeing growth in cloud, whatever that might be, from 1 person to 100 people. Growth is growth. It'll look good on the spreadsheet. And we're also seeing growth on PC, and we send our games there day and date. We're seeing growth on Game Pass on PC and on cloud only. Do we need to be putting as much effort into this Xbox, this stupid proprietary box that sits on the shelves and people aren't buying at the moment at a rapid rate, especially when we get the embarrassment of the PS5 selling 100% increases year on year? Is this worth keeping an eye on just in case they start to treat the Xbox faithful, the console players, as second or third class citizens?
I would be really surprised if they didn't continue to challenge PlayStation in the console market indefinitely. And
Why
I think
though? They're services now. That's what they keep saying. We're a software and services. We got Game Pass. You don't need to worry about what the box it's on. Play it on your phone. Straight in. 1 second latency. Whatever screen
great.
you got. 2 billion people we've got access to. Huh? Why are we segregating? Why are we bothering with these fucking 30 million nerds that are buying these black boxes? We're selling them at a fucking loss, Alan.
Oh, they ain't selling them at a loss for a start. No matter what they say, they're making a profit out of it. No one sells products at a loss unless you're an idiot. And Microsoft are not idiots. For whatever they are, they're not stupid. Make a bloody fortune, that company. Literally money printers extraordinaire.
Wow.
So unless there was some sort of advantage they can get by doing it, and on the basis, there's a cost that goes into maintaining the Xbox and producing it and developing it and all that kind of stuff, but it ain't going to be that high, is it? I mean, I sat there and built a PC in 10 minutes. Like, you stick the requirements in. There's obviously some effort that goes into it, but broadly speaking, it's not going to be a huge loss maker for them. And I think there is always going to be a segment of the market that wants at least something physical to turn on.
Get your PS5 and get Game Pass through that. Done.
I just don't think they're going to do that. I don't see it.
Who doesn't want to do that?
I don't think Microsoft would want to.
I think they absolutely want to put it on the PS5. I think Sony don't want it. I don't think they're interested in this nonsense. Really, like at the very top level, they're like, "Look, Phil, there's a war chest. Do what you want with it." But it seems
what is the goal?
Make money, innit? By spending,
is it?
Yeah, but it's making money and growth. It's not actually right. It's not even making money. It's just growth at the moment. It seems most of these firms focus on revenue growth. They don't tell you how much they spent on it. Game revenue up 9%. I was like, well, did you draw down the 70 billion you spent on? No, you didn't, because your overall profit would be well down. That's why they talk in revenues and not the actual in and out job.
The thing is, they probably secured debt to buy it anyway. Like, it's not like they looked at their bank account. I'd be very surprised if they just paid cash.
I think they did.
Look at what Musk did with Twitter. It's all leveraged debt. And that's how they do it. And then they pay the debt off in that way because it's more efficient to do it like that. That's what I'd expect. So it's not like where you and I go, oh, need a new fridge freezer. So that's going to come out of the bank account or whatever. Like, they just leverage debt usually to buy and acquire
Microsoft
things.
buy Activision in an all cash deal.
Well, there you go. I mean, that's not...
I think they did. I think they actually did just buy it outright.
Imagine just having that. Just sitting there. $70 billion, yeah, cash.
That's Microsoft. They're a $2 trillion company.
I know, but still, that is mental. So, I mean, obviously they don't have it in cash. I'm sure they've got it in various investment vehicles.
No, it's a suitcase. They went round the suitcase and dropped it off. Went, there you go. You do the admin of getting that into people's accounts and shareholders. We're just going to drop this briefcase off. And it was done. That's as simple as that.
Yeah. I mean, truth be told, I don't really... I mean, you look at PlayStation and there's a clear business plan, right? In terms of they want to keep things exclusive. They want to draw people to their console. They want to release good games and get people buying the console and get that flywheel spinning, if you like. But Microsoft just seems to have this scattergun business model of cloud, of subscriptions, and
they're edging their bets, aren't they? They're trying to get fingers in different pies and then accelerate where it makes sense and not accelerate where there's a decline.
But what are they accelerating? There's no good games. This is the point.
Don't need it. You've got Game Pass. So they haven't got to worry about it, have they?
Yeah, but surely, when you actually break this down a bit, what draws you to it? It's the games.
They've got 200 games on Game Pass.
So what we're saying is they want to release good games, not great games. They'd rather release 20 good games than one great one.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Absolutely, 100% accurate. Now, if they can release 20 great games, they will. But if they were given that opportunity, they're going to do 20 good games because that means more people go into their service and stay there for a longer period of time. It's a different game they're playing.
Yeah, so that's what I mean. I guess that's where I struggle with their business model, is because they don't come out and say that. And obviously they can't come out and say it. But they're going for quantity over quality, arguably. Whereas PlayStation go for quality over quantity, largely. Now, obviously, they're going to release some good games as well, but they want 1, 2, 3, if they can, great games every year.
Well, one this year.
Well, yeah, 1 this year, but some years you get to up to 2 or 3 of them.
And then we're getting rewarded with 175% increases in hardware take-up, so why would they bother releasing more than one? Sickens me when they do that.
So
it's fucking drones going out there buying it.
Yeah, because they'll still play their FIFA, they can still play their Call of Duty, and they can then get their Spider-Man.
They can play Call of Duty for now until Phil pulls the rug out.
Yeah, and then you've got on Xbox, you go, well, you can play bloody Starfield or some tutter from
Forza
Game
Motorsport, Hi-Fi Rush, Redfall.
They ain't playing that.
Minecraft Legends.
They ain't playing that.
Liza P.
They ain't playing that. Well, I don't know. They might play that.
Sold 1 million copies.
Yeah, no, to be fair, when you said Liza P, I've shut on that unnecessarily. I see. Didn't deserve that.
Crumple over it. Speaking of that, actually, this is a complete side now. That Lords of the Fallen, which is another Souls... So Liza P is a Souls-like type game. Lords of the Fallen, also a Souls-like game. That also sold 1 million. Like, it's clearly just like a default market of 1 million people that will go out and buy these Souls-like games if they're not complete and utter toot.
Yeah, that's probably fair. Yeah, money
Well,
printer.
If I'm Sony, I'm sickened by that I haven't capitalised on Bloodborne. Either remastered it and got that out, or try to wrangle and got a sequel with From Software, or give it to someone else, because that is money to be made there, and everyone's clamouring for that. Instead, they're off playing Lies of P and Lords of the Fallen when they didn't have to.
Why is that? I don't remember. I think Bloodborne, what's that, 2016, 2017 or something?
Yeah, I mean, I've got 2017 in my head. It may have been 2018, but yeah, 2017 sounds about right.
I kind of remember that getting crapped on a bit because it was hard.
Well, that was it, yeah.
Like,
Cool,
and I think
2015, well off the mark.
it was. I thought it
That's
felt
what I'm
like it was
saying.
a
It's been
while
in a
ago.
fucking decade, and they've put thumb up arse with it.
So maybe they just feel like that name's tainted with, and especially I don't know. Now
That was
I'm
not
getting out of my
crapped on.
depth, but haven't they got a bit easier?
91
as
on
an-
Open Critic.
Yeah,
Honestly,
I
that's
don't mean
it.
crapped on critically.
Right. Crapped on by the losers that can't handle it. The same
Right,
losers that
so-
crapped on Elden Ring and it sold 20 million. Yes, please.
Yeah, but Elden Ring was made a bit more accessible. I understand it.
Arguably, but still.
Yeah,
not
you see,
gonna...
this is what I'm trying not to dabble outside of my lane here.
I mean,
but
probably it's more accessible in the fact that if you get stuck, you can go off and do other things. And whilst that is true for Bloodborne, it's limited in what you do because you'll just go and find another optional boss is the the most likely outcome, and then struggle with that. Whereas Elden Ring, there's a whole world to go off and explore, so you can just go and do that. But the same principle applies. You over level your character and then teach them a lesson, or you just summon, and then someone from wherever in the world will come in at level 160 and just blow the fucking boss away, and you'll just stick their feet up. That's the way to make it easier.
Do you want that? Do you want the Bloodborne 2?
Yeah. I want some sort of remaster of Bloodborne because it ran like dog shit. There's no getting around that.
Right.
And then a second one. Why not?
Don't know. I don't want it. Stick
Right.
up your ass. But there's obviously a market there, and my gut feel is that the Souls games used to be a minority of hardcore players, and I feel like that's grown. I mean, you've even got Biff that's tried to dabble in it, and Adkins and stuff, and I think there probably is a bigger market for some of these more challenging games now than perhaps there was.
I don't think
I don't want that stress. Life's stressful enough without that going on.
Yeah, I mean, it's not going to do Call of Duty numbers, but it's enough to make a tidy profit and to get some good fan cachet on your side. So
They get critical acclaim now as well. So and I don't think they really used to. Again, I don't know whether that's bollocks, but
well, I think they used to get critical acclaim because it used to go to the right people. There is that thing I always think of. They and along with other games and genres go to people that like those games. So you're always going to
Football
get
Manager to me to review, not paper. And I think that is the right thing to do because it's like if I like this sort of game, will I like it? Is probably the best way to get around it. If you give me Bloodborne to review, I'm going to shit all over it, right?
Yeah.
And it's just not my bag. If you give me Dead Space to review, I'm not going to enjoy it. So,
wow.
but then you're getting into the realms of biases if you give it people that do like it. What do you do? It's an imperfect system.
Doesn't work, does it? Anyway, Xbox hardware, is it going away?
Not in the near future.
No.
I mean, I'm still adamant at some point they will be redundant. And they probably could be redundant now, but it's not. As you said, there's a lag, there's a latency, and you don't have control over it. It's in someone else's control. And I think people aren't at a point where they're willing or comfortable to relinquish that.
No.
I reckon
I'm not
2
ringing,
generations time it could be on the menu.
I'm not ringing the alarm bell saying, look, your Xbox is going to be closed off in a minute. But
No.
if they want growth, Microsoft, and if they see the growth being somewhere else, they will invest more in that area rather than your black box. So you just got to be wary of that happening. If that's your main meal is playing on an Xbox console, but they're their success is largely being eaten up on other fronts, whether that's PC, cloud, Game Pass, etc., that they may well choose to realign their resources elsewhere, meaning that next time it won't be what you wanted. That's all.
So are you, just to delve into this a bit more, just to take up the time, so are you thinking about more like, you get a PC, you can put whatever parts in it you like, but the operating system's Windows. Is that kind of how you're thinking about it? Or are you thinking more of an app-based, like you download the Microsoft Game Pass app and you got their whole library and you can get it through on your new Nintendo Switch, you can get it through on your PS7 or
something,
you know
like,
what I mean?
Something, I mean, that's like end game sort of shit, but something like there's an Xbox app, Game Pass app on anything that you can play a game on. And then maybe there still is an Xbox which just has that and other means, but that to me feels like what they were trying, at least at some point, were thinking was going to happen. You get 200 million Game Pass subscribers one day, and then, you know, they're off to the races. But I'm not even sure that's necessarily realistic now, getting a few hundred million, because it has slowed up a little bit. And we even saw that they've removed, you know, the old Nadella, the big king of Microsoft. One of his bonuses was tied to Game Pass growth, and they've blown it again for like the third year running. Haven't reached it. I think it owed 4%, and it got like less than half of that, and that's now no longer a goal for him for the next year. So he's gone, look, that's not fair. It ain't work. Whatever we said back in 3-4 years ago ain't coming to fruition. So this change. And
How would you deal with that? Like, what if someone said to you, Joe, 5%, or whatever it is, it's almost irrelevant. Get that Game Pass growing. And you've got, what do you do? Because really the thing that will drive that growth is the games. Like, you'd argue that that's going to be the main driver, is what's on there, what's going to draw people to it.
What do you mean by growth? How's that measured?
So, number of users. Monthly users.
I'll cut the price by 75%. There's no revenue tied to that. I'll cook the books
so this
that
is
way.
where it's interesting, right? So I always think
and then I creep it up
think,
over the years, and they all stay for the ride, and then they don't realise they're paying more than they did 3 years ago.
And this is the trouble with revenue versus growth.
Yeah.
Because it's like, they're not going to want just to see the numbers go up, because then you go to them and you go, look, boss, numbers through the roof. They go, yeah, but we're losing money on it. You go, well, that wasn't, asked me to make money on it. You asked me to grow it, and the numbers are higher than ever. So what are we doing? I suspect it's a case of both of them. Growth is revenue and users, right?
Yeah.
So say you've got to do that. You've got to bring in an extra 4%. I mean, obviously,
put the price up 10%. You assume you only lose less than 6%. You're laughing.
No, because the growth's down. Numbers are down.
Both. Doesn't work like that, you fucking morons.
That's
you
the goal.
You have to be strong with them.
You want your $1 million bonus, then both of them
I'm
required.
all right with having $500,000 salary, thanks. I'll do that for 2 years and retire. You just try and get away with it then, don't you, for a couple of years?
The goal's not to get the bonus. The goal's to get the salary for as long as you can.
Yeah. But there's like
if
4.
I can stay in this hot seat, then we're laughing.
He had like 4 other metrics that weren't related to Xbox.
It's just interesting though, because I find that if you can't, the only real drive you've got is what games you can get on there, which really is going to. I mean, imagine if you got.
Call of Duty will be on there one day, though. That's
right,
the thing.
so this is what I'm saying. You get Call of Duty on there, you get something on there, and all of a sudden the numbers go through the roof because people
do they
go,
though? Well, they say I haven't got a fucking Xbox. I've got a PS5. I made my choice 3 years ago. You fucking numpties. I ain't paying another £400 for it.
Yeah. The thing is,
I only play Call of Duty. I don't want to pay fucking $180 a year or whatever it costs to have Game Pass. I'll pay $70 a year and say thank you. I'll play that all year round.
I wonder if he thought that you see, when you look at this, I wonder why why they brought gold into that Game Pass category. Because he went, well, how have you increased the numbers? And you went, well, we brought all the gold and silvers in. So
yeah, it's nonsense. It's not even real Game Pass, as we've discussed. It's just absolute nonsense. And look, we're not going to get the breakdown either. We're going to get a parade of numbers of increase, and it'll be most of that will be the gold people transferred into what is essentially TUT and not a Game Pass. Anyway. Don't think it's going away, but keep an eye on it, I'll say. And I was just surprised that, maybe not on the revenue, because that's year on year, we don't care about that, but the fact that their sales were down from last year in the European market, console-wise, is it's quite shocking when they had their biggest game of the generation out, because it means that people that are not like the game performed poorly, it got to number 2. So it wasn't selling, but strange. Anyway, we'll leave Xbox to it. Idle Game Chat, Dimp Digital's flagship video game podcast. Here most weeks to talk about all manner of turt. Patreon.com/Dimp Digital is the place to go to support this grassroots and independent endeavour. You'll also join the community. #hand in pocket. Couple of games have been out in the fantasy gaming leagues. Let's get through those. Metal Gear Solid Master Collection Volume 1, currently sitting on a 77. This goes into Adcock's Grand Prix team. Alvaro Alonso comes in with the review from Hobby Consolaris.
Hobby Consola. We need a jingle for that, really.
Well, maybe they've got one. I've never been on their website. He gave it 75 out of 100, so near the mean average. Having these games on current platforms is fantastic, and yes, they are still masterpieces that we would recommend with our eyes closed. But a series like Metal Gear Solid deserves more than just a compilation without any substantial novelty, which seems more like an attempt to silence fans than an honest way to revitalise Snake. So it's an interesting perspective. That seems to be the general theme, is that good to have them, but they've not done anything significant with them. My question is, how much treatment should this old toot be given? Now,
It's a tricky one.
What I'd normally say is you go full whack, but you look at that PS1 game, that Metal Gear Solid, there really is only so much you can do to make that look good. The fact that it's not at laser sharp 4K is probably a blessing, because the game was never intended to be viewed on anything other than a blurry whatever we had back in the day. Yeah. So there is only so much you can do to a certain extent. It probably would look worse if you made it too clean, in a way. It kind of needs to be a bit soft. But normally I'd say you do the maximum.
Yeah.
Now, what they've got running alongside this, and we saw another trailer of it this past week, is they are remaking Metal Gear Solid 3. So this treatment that people wanted is actually happening, just on a more game-by-game basis. So with that being said, I'm kind of fine with them being the way they are. This is a way of... It's not completely preserving the original, because these are HD versions that were re-released, and they have cleaned up the controls and cleaned up some of the artifacting and whatnot. But it's about as close as you can probably get to how the games were when they originally came out. And I'm kind of fine with that being a part of it. Not everything's got to be updated to 2023 standards, especially when you've already got a remake in the works for one of the games, and presumably, if that's a success, you'll do more. But is there value in having old games that are as close to their original as possible? Or should they have just gone, look, we're going to remaster these and clean them up completely?
I think that if you deviate too far from the original, then it loses some of the original magic that people actually wanted it and liked it for. And I think it's a really tricky balancing act between keeping enough of the originality versus updating enough to make it playable, because largely these games have become playable.
Bastardised the original in some way.
Well, there's always going to be that element of criticality over it, I think. There's going to be some people that love the imperfections of the original, and you get rid of some of those and it takes away some of the charm. And it's like people that have... If you buy used watches, people don't like it if you clean them up, because they go, oh, it tells a story, and like various other things. It's like some classic things are the way they are because it tells the story of the game and stuff, and the products. And I don't know if I necessarily buy into that, because every time I've gone back to play an old game, I go, this is shit. How did I play it? Like, but I think if they're that old, like to your point, they look like shit now. Like it's great having crystal clear screens and all this stuff available to us, but it really does amplify how poor it looks. Like it just doesn't do it any favors. So I think arguably if it's old enough and it looks poor enough, then you kind of just do what they've done by the sounds of it, which is just tidy up the edges a bit and make it a bit more playable and go off your pop.
Yeah.
And where you've got a bit more to work with, then you know you can do something like a remaster or whatever. But I quite like what what Resident Evil have done with their games, which is basically just redo them. And I think that if you're going to do it,
Yeah.
and you do that and you do it well, like that's where the championship is, I think.
Yeah, it's like a reimagination of the original because
Yeah.
you've got new mechanics and things to be playing with and modernisations and
Stuff you can do
design.
now that you couldn't do back then that make it better, right? And I think that's what my ideal is, rather than just going back and replaying stuff. I like the idea that they are reimagined with a modern lens on it, and then you don't get snarled up in that. You get obviously compared to it, and there's some throwbacks and nods to the original, but you're not constrained by all this retro stuff.
Yeah.
And I really do feel like that was like proved that is the way that it can be done.
Yeah. So yeah, I think I tend to agree. I think having the key thing for me about this collection is that now Metal Gear Solid 1 is playable on a modern platform. I think PS2 was the last time it was even playable on anything.
Yeah.
And it's been on to be fair, it has been released on PC through GOG, Good Old Games. But in terms of a console, we've been lacking a way to play this. The PlayStation Mini had it, so you could play it on that, but that wasn't ideal. But in terms of if you just bought your PS5s or your PS4s, now there's a way to play it. Same with the Xbox side. So I think it is important to at least check that box, because on the assumption that going forward, most things are going to be backwards compatible in the console space, this should preserve a version of the game as best it can. So to me, that was the minimum requirement, and they kind of hit that. And yeah, they're doing a Metal Gear Solid 3 remake. Who knows how much they change or don't change and whatnot. I've heard they're not re-recording any of the voice dialogue and things, so they're kind of going to be tied in from that perspective. I don't think a lot of people would want them changed, to be honest, because again, that's like, it's almost perfect the way it's done, but that does tie your hands in terms of structure, where you go and what you can do. You can't deviate. You can't deviate that much, can you? Because you're locked in. Maybe they move things around and they're clever with it. But yeah, it looks like they're kind of going down that road as well, and that takes time. So you're not going to get a collection of 4 or 5 games to come out and be in that vein. It has to be done game by game and have the focus to be put on it. So that's really the more interesting thing, is to see how that pans out, that Metal Gear Solid Delta Snake Eater remake. And then this is called Volume 1. Huge rumours, or heavy rumours, that it's going to be a Volume 2 with Metal Gear Solid 4, perhaps 5, Peace Walker, all that stuff. So eventually we should have a Master Collection Volume 1 and 2, or a Master Collection overall that has everything up until this point, available on modern platforms. And it's a minimum, some would say, but it's something we haven't had, so I'll take it.
Yeah, no, it's fair. I think it goes back to what we said before, though, what we were discussing the other week around Grand Theft Auto. Give me that. Available modern platforms. That's what I'd like, but...
Well, got the old Red Dead Redemption out the bins, didn't they? Just chucked on the PS4. Yeah. So maybe there's a view to do that of GTA 4 or something like that.
No, I want the older ones as well.
2D tutters?
Yeah, I'd love that to be cleaned up a little bit.
I don't
just
think
give it a run. Well, my brain says I do.
No. They're so bad. They're so bad. By today's standard. I don't mean at the time, because I used to love them as well.
Yeah.
But no, is what I'd say to that. You're going to be in for a rude awakening. And I'll be in for a rude awakening if I ever play this Metal Gear Solid 1. That's why I'm staying away from it for a little while, till I can handle that disgraceful moment in my life. Adcock again firing on all cylinders. Another game he's dropped out. Alan Wake 2. Sitting on an 89 at the moment, so a very nice score indeed for Remedy. Tristan Ogilvie. Ogilvie?
Ogilvie?
Ogilvie? Ogilvie.
Ogilvie, yeah.
Ogilvie. Alan Wake 2 is a superb survival horror sequel that makes the cult classic original seem like little more than a rough first draft by comparison. So he's cracked on the original, which is fair enough. I mean, it's over 10 years old, I think, so this probably does feel like that. 9 out of 10 given. Very good scores. Definitely puts it on the radar if it wasn't already. I do like most of Remedy's work. I want to go through and play Control, which has some DLC that has some narrative beats from Alan Wake in there, the original. and I've also got access. I've got access to that, and I've got access to Alan Wake Remastered. So I could do a whole kind of universe run through, but then you're making a mountain out of what could have been just a molehill of just playing.
It's dangerous doing this.
It's dangerous.
It's something that I've noticed. There's a real replay mentality going on that Ronnie's seeping into.
I don't really want to play Alan Wake again, if I'm honest. I liked it for what it was at its time, but I don't fancy going back to that. But I do want to play Control again because I always wanted to go back.
You did like that.
I did like that, and I wanted to play it at 60 FPS. And now that I've got the package with the DLC included, that feels like a good time to go back and revisit that, and then get into Alan Wake 2. So I do think this is in danger, this game, despite the critical reception, which all indications say that it's going to be pretty good if you're into these sorts of games. But I think on the commercial front, it's could bomb because it's just come out after Spider-Man 2, after Super Mario Wonder, a week later, and I'm like, how many people? And it's digital only. Now, we know that the sales are heavily skewed in digital's favour. There's more people doing that than there is physical, but you still lose a portion of the market that you otherwise wouldn't have done if you had a disc version out there for people to buy, especially in the run up to Christmas. There may have been a gift buying and whatnot. So I've got a feeling this could bomb, which is why when Salmon asked if it's on Game Pass, I said it's not, but I wouldn't be surprised if in 6 months if it isn't, because they're like, we can take a check from Phil, take a bung and chuck it on there and perhaps recoup. I would love to be wrong. I must say that I would love to be wrong, and that actually it sells 1 million in like one day and sells more than Lies of P and Laws of the Fallen put together. But it just feels like this is ill-timed in terms of it's slightly cheaper, as they mentioned in their press release, because it's digital only, but they're still asking a lot for people to be coming off of Super Mario Wonder, coming off of Spider-Man 2. Yes, there's not perhaps a great crossover, but there's still a lot of cool gamers that are going to be playing just those two games still. Yeah. So Alan Wake 2 is not going to be on the menu for a while.
I think you're right. I think that's going to be the problem for most people, isn't it? It's not going to be top of the list, but that might see a bit of a delayed, sort of
boon
delayed boon for it. Yeah,
once it goes on sale, because even Adcock was like, "Oh, well, I'm going to play that then," and I said, "Oh, it's digital only," and he was like, "Oh, there's a good chance he won't." Just for that reason. I don't know. You know what these people are like. I need their heads checked. They didn't mind playing Limbo, did they, when that was digital only? They didn't mind.
This is what I mean. For some reason, there's
Trials.
An expectation. Yeah,
didn't mind that, did we?
Happily download it, but when it comes to Alan Wake 2, they go, "Oh, what do you mean? Oh,
yeah." Just fucking play it if you want to play it. That's what happens when you try and make the gaming hobby like some sort of cash. I know people want to be frugal, but when you try and cut corners and make it as cheap as possible and always look for the deal rather than the going rate, you get snarled up in it. Because the reason why they want to do that, at least from an Adcock perspective, is to trade it in and make the next game cheaper. But you can't do that here.
I do understand that, and I do understand why people want to be able to trade. And I think, as we discussed before, that is the biggest downside of moving to digital, is there's no game sharing and there's no trading. So it does hurt people a bit. But if you want to play it, I mean, arguably this is the way we're going. And if you want to be playing it, you're going to have to suck that up a little bit. And if you want
Alan Wake 3, heed my warning, this could bomb. So get out there and buy it if you really want that.
Money where your mouth is.
I mean, I do as well, but I'm not going to do it because I think it's stupid to have released it a week after Spider-Man.
So you're punishing them because of that?
Well, I just think it's ridiculous to have done it. I can't bend over backwards for everyone. Because there was other games that have delayed themselves till next year, saying, "Yeah, we don't want any part of this." This part of the year.
It's the right thing to do.
It's the right thing to do. Yes.
I find it bizarre that people just do they just get out. Why?
Well, we know why. Because every day that goes by is money out the door and no money coming in. So if you do delay it for 3 months, you've got 3 months worth of salaries that you've got to keep paying without getting it back, and you've got to hope that the loss of sales that you were projected by releasing it in a busy schedule are made up by releasing it in another gap later on, at another time. And you can always run into the problem that Elden Ring 2 is announced and coming out, a week apart from your new release date. So then what do you do again? Do you delay it again? And it's 6 months. You've just wasted half a year's salaries on it. So I do. It's not as easy as we make out. However,
no. It's not as binary as that. But you
No.
think surely you'd look at that runway, like you know what's broadly going to be there, and
Yeah.
you would plot towards
that.
a free-ish element. I mean, it's like you could release it when Call of Duty comes out because arguably they're two separate and completely different games. But yeah, I don't know.
Epic Games are publishing it, so that does probably help out Remedy in some ways, and
Yeah.
Epic don't mind, chucking money at things just to get a foothold. So it's not like they're self-publishing this, and it's like if it doesn't succeed, the studio's going to go down. Chances are they've already been paid out for most of the work. So to be honest, that probably tells you why they released it now. Is because Epic are publishing it, and they're like, nah, we're all right.
Chuck it out.
We'll chuck it out. People buy it on that store through us, and we'll get even more of a cut, so we don't mind that. But
Yeah, true.
we'll get to this at some point. It's just figuring out how to get there and plot a route to a satisfactory level of familiarity with the universe and the game itself without overdoing it. But we'll see. We went through 3 Spider-Man games before that come out, so there is history to be doing that. Anyway, time to close down this segment of the podcast. We'll transfer into some game impressions, and we are going to get into Starfield, number 2 in the European sales charts, number 1 in the American sales charts. Don't care about that, but worth mentioning that it sold very well despite being on Game Pass. But Adkins has got the inside scoop. And this was the man that was unable to complete the game because there was a game-breaking bug just as the credits rolled. Whether or not that's been resolved, you'll have to find out in the next chat. So we're going to It is a cliffhanger.
I'll keep interrupting you as well. We're trying to close it down to really great on him.
Little intermission coming. Nothing more for us to say other than we'll see you on the other side. Here we are then, back with some game impressions. To close out this edition of Idle Game Chat, you got Apps here and Tom Adkins, Nightcock.
Nope. That's my alien face instead of the crown.
The crown's been binned for the alien face. And it's on brand because we're here to talk, or you're here to talk about Starfield, which I have not played as of this recording. Because
spoilers inbound.
There was, you got to be careful around the Spoiler King.
Very careful.
But I missed the window for it, and I've just got to wait for some time in the runway. And it sounds like on the PC front,
Did you install it?
I've installed it. Yeah, it sits there installed and updates every week.
It's on your achievement list. I went, right, what's happened here? He's accidentally clicked play.
I think I did one day actually, but I tabbed out of it.
It's come up on your thing. Just
yeah.
comes up
look, I will get to this at one point. I don't know as and when. I don't know. Maybe sometime in the next few months. It just needs a bit more runway. But you managed to rattle your way through it. Here's the store page. Baby. Starfield is the first new universe in 25 years from Bethesda Game Studios, the award-winning creators of Elder Scrolls V, Skyrim, and Fallout 4. Didn't mention Fallout 3. in this next generation role-playing game set amongst the stars, create any character you want and explore with unparalleled freedom as you embark on an epic journey to answer humanity's greatest mysteries, or mystery rather. It is current gen only. It's not available on Xbox One. I think you can play it through the cloud on your Xbox One if you've got that means. But PC and series consoles only. Let's get into some cards on the table with, I guess, Bethesda game. There's no franchise here. This is brand new.
There is no franchise. My last space game, Star Wars. No, let's go BGS.
No Man's Sky.
I did not play Oblivion. I bought Oblivion, but never properly played it. I think I played like a demo when the 360 come out. Didn't really sell on it, so never played it. Skyrim would have been... What came first, Fallout 3 or Skyrim?
Fallout 3 came first.
Fallout 3. Yeah, I was late to that though, actually. So maybe Skyrim certainly was my biggest experience of a BGS game, and I loved that. Played the shit out of it on the 360. Then I dabbled on Fallout franchise 3, which I played a bit on my 360. I never completed, sort of played a bit and then sort of, I don't know, it didn't really, I never clung to it. I didn't sort of, I don't know why, it didn't grab my bollards for some reason. And then I went back to it just before 4 come out and managed to steamroll it. This is your greatest ever story. I managed to steamroll through the whole game in 13 hours.
Disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. There's people that criticise Spider-Man 2 for being too short. You've just proven that Fallout 3 perhaps shorter if you go point to point.
What's the how long to beat on Fallout 3?
That's fucking disgraceful.
It's 47 hours. It's
such a bastardisation of that great game.
Unbelievable. I absolutely miss. I didn't care for any of your side stories. Exploring, no. This is a point-to-point linear game for me. That is unbelievable. But from there, I didn't dabble in New Vegas, which I know there's a lot of love for New Vegas. Like I said, I didn't. And then I played 4. I got 4. I think it was released, or maybe a couple of days after. I went PC with that. And that's one, aside from Skyrim, that was back in the days when you didn't have game counters, so I don't know how, because I had multiple saves, so I lost count of how many hours, but I would imagine there would have been, high number of hours in Skyrim. But Fallout 4 come out, and I realised what I'd done with 3 and was like, right, that's not how you play a BGS game. The whole point of these games is to not mainline and fuck off and go and do some weird shit. So I did play Fallout 4 the proper way. I think I played about 40 odd hours on that.
Did you finish it?
I did, yeah, I did. I didn't do everything. I don't think I did all the factions. And I didn't get really into a lot of the creating thing again, which is something I didn't do in Starfield. I know Biff recently played, I say recent, within the last 5 years, he played Fallout 4 again, didn't he? He said he really got into the sort of settlement making and stuff. Well, that's something I never really touched upon. I
hated the settlement stuff in Fallout 4.
Yeah.
And I thought I was going to love it. I remember they did the reveal at E3, I was like, oh my God, that's almost...
I watched that back recently, actually. I forgot about how good it was.
Yeah, and then when it come to actually trying to build things, I was like, this is such a poor way of doing it. Like, it was really clumsy.
And
I actually
just demolish everything, couldn't you, to get the resources?
I actually got sucked into just trading, like just trying to become like a millionaire in caps. That I'd pick up every weapon that I'd kill, all the armor, and go to, was it Diamond City, trade there and sell them. What I liked about it was that the traders only had a finite amount of money, so you couldn't just sell everything. They'd only have like 2,000 caps, so you
would it replenish if you
over time? Yeah, I think if you bought stuff, it would start replenishing, and also over time it would go up and down. But I remember I spent ages going out to the wasteland, getting loads of gear, coming back and selling it and whatnot. But the settlement thing I didn't get on with, which I thought I was going to really adore.
No, so basically, the 4 I gave a lot more time, and I suppose I need to go back and play 3 again, really, because I did enjoy my time more in 4, but most would say that 4 is not as good as 3. 3 is a much better game.
It might have been, though, Adkins. One of the things I always think about, because I definitely love 3 more, but there's always that was the first 3D Fallout game.
Right, yeah.
So it has that advantage of just wowing you. Now we've had games, not just Fallout 4, but we've had New Vegas, but we've also had other games like that.
Well, this is the other thing. I think the closest to Starfield, I then tried, what was that? Outer World, was it?
Oh, yeah, from Obsidian.
Obsidian, that's it. That's the game. And that was probably my closest thing. But I didn't get on with that, to be honest. I started that and really just got bored and fell off of that.
The story of his life.
Yeah, it really is. So Fallout 4 was my last BGS game. I say I've never really got in with any of it. I never played any of the Skyrim DLCs. I never played any of the Fallout DLCs. So there's a lot been missed out, to be fair, and it's been a very hit and miss with with BGS games. Like I say, Skyrim's the ultimate highlight, but I've been very wishy-washy with the Fallout franchise.
What about?
So when
So go on.
I was going to say, so when Thing was announced, Starfield, it was more of the setting that
That's what I was gonna
got me
ask.
hyped.
Is sci-fi and space exploration something you're interested in?
You know, I quite
Films
like
or games?
I like space. Yeah, the space setting. I do prefer a lot for it. I'm a big space
So if we went
guy.
fantasy, post-apocalyptic, and then space, would space and
Space
sci-fi
would be number one,
yeah.
I think. Yeah, probably post-apocalyptic would be last, I think. But I do like that setting. You know, I like the Mad Max films.
Yeah.
Like, you know, a zombie-esque Walking Dead style. I'm a big fan of it. It's not that I hate that sort of film, that sort of genre. Sorry, I don't know why I've never truly clicked the Fallout franchise. Yeah, like I say, as soon as Starfield was announced, I was like, wow, this is, especially after, and there's going to be a lot of comparisons here to one's No Man's Sky. After
Not allowed to compare the two.
Can
That's what I was told. You cannot compare the two space games. It's not you can you can do it because
do it?
because one has RPG mechanics and one doesn't. One has space travel and one doesn't. One has seamless world transitions, one doesn't.
So yeah, so when I saw that, and after the debacle of, it's good now, but back then when it was the ultimate disaster, hype train derailer.
Fucking Paper got everyone on board with that, and then
he did, didn't
washed
he?
his hands of it.
Biff was I think Biff was the most burnt, so much he'd never go back.
No.
Ever to...
But the thing is, knowing what I know now, I'm surprised I even let Biff try that. I could have told him you ain't going to enjoy it, so don't be getting involved. But
he went out. Did he go out day one as well? Got it.
yeah.
That's excellent. I think he still stings now, that burn that he got off at.
He mentions it enough, so he definitely isn't happy.
And yeah, it definitely was to Papers. Definitely he was riding that train. He was in the seat.
Yeah.
He was doing
Fucking
Biff's
derailed us
job.
all. Yeah, you bastard.
So yeah, so the build up to this, little bits that they showed, and it really did. It got that sort of hype train starting again, and then got a couple of one or two huge delays. Like fucking hell, when are we ever going to see this?
Got a good year and change delay.
That's it.
2022.
And then I've got to say I was very hyped, and then they done not long ago. A months now, but they did like a big deep dive into it. Like
that looked fucking awesome. And
and I was like, cool,
wow.
no, this does look very good.
That's a 96, I thought in my head.
Yeah,
not
exactly.
Zelda. I thought this
Zelda
is not Baldur's Gate. Well, Baldur's Gate went out by then, but
this is the daddy of all.
This is the 96 that the Green Bloods have needed and that Xbox needs.
Xbox, this is what it is. And I was there day one. I returned to Game Pass. I opted. There was the question of, do I buy this physical or do I just get the Game Pass and wash my hands of it? And I'm glad I chose the thing. I'll tell you why, but also a financial thing. I thought I'll be playing, which I haven't.
Lies
wanted
of
to
P.
play Forza.
Lies of P.
I wish I fucking had the Forza. So I thought, well, if I buy the two of those games thing, if I was to buy them physical, that's like a year's worth of Game Pass. I think I can play so many more better games.
Yes.
I just having that for a year, and then I ain't got that once I've had me time with it, which I feel like I have now. I may go back and if there's big updates
when you do the maths, isn't it, on that Game Pass? It's like
it's ridiculous. So I opted to do, and I was there day and day on the day, and I played
Did you ever
through.
consider going for the PC Game Pass route? So you've got the sort of 1440p Dreamboat there.
I did, but I didn't. What I liked, well, the big thing about this game was. One of the big downside was the reveal that he was going for quality. And I've got to say, when I first saw that fucking direct they did, that was, and I'll say right off the bottom here, that was throughout the game. There was some jaw-dropping moments. I mean, it's not the best-looking game I've ever seen.
No.
in terms of a BGS game, there's some environments and it's hit and miss. Like sometimes you'll be on a planet and you'll be like, "Fuck me, this looks incredible." Like some of the texture designs they do, certainly like a rocky planet. It's just like the most basic sort of map, or just a barren wasteland. But the way they do the environments and the skyboxes and stuff like that, it really is like, cool. This is actually visually incredible for certainly a BGS game, because they've never been a lookers really.
No, they've been pretty ugly. I mean, I'm
have,
fine with someone
they?
telling me that Fallout 3 is an ugly game.
Yeah,
And I say, well, have you looked in the mirror yourself, love? And then get in trouble for saying that, but. Yeah, they're not typically aren't lookers, are they? Even the environments. Not just been the settings though. You think about Fallout, it's just barren wasteland, literally.
Just brown, isn't it? It's a brown, dirty old game.
Skyrim's like a bit of forest and sparse worlds, whereas this has the opportunity to sort of have a bit more colour to it, perhaps. Moons floating around, all this. Well, I don't know if that happens.
Exactly. So throughout, I was like, cool. And yeah, Todd Howard made this big thing how they've made a creative decision that they wanted to go for quality over performance. So we feel it's the right thing. So in my head, I was like, well, I know my PC, can he be doing that 4K?
No.
And that's what Todd's promised me. He's gone, right, you ain't getting 30 FPS, but what you will get is a glorious 4K. So I was like, in that case. And the other thing was, I thought, fuck me, I haven't played my Xbox since I cancelled Game Pass back in like, whenever it was, fucking May or March, something like that. I have not picked it because I haven't bought anything on it. I've bought everything on PS3. I was like, I need to get something to play on that console. It's a
dust collector booted up.
It's just been sat there. It's fucking Power Wash Simulator. I think it was the last game I played.
Well, I've all
on
gone
that.
back for Redfall if it wasn't so fucking shit.
Yeah, that's just had an update, isn't it? A 60 FPS.
60
It's
FPS
stuck
now.
under the Ranger.
Yeah.
Back
Sort
in
of
there.
fixed now. The real No Man's Sky turnaround, people are saying.
Back again. So, no, unfortunately, I wish I fucking had, because there's another thing we'll get to later on that I do require the PC package, the PC Game Pass, to be able to sort something out. But no, unfortunately, no, there was never a... It was a fault, but no chance of it being so. No, I was day and date console exclusive Game Pass, which...
Yeah.
Went for the cheaper option, £8 a month.
Yeah.
And yeah, installed it. It was a big bastard, 120. Managed to pre-install it, which was fucking handy.
Yeah.
And was there day and day, and boom, I was a lass up, and I went through.
How long did you play it roughly? Is there
Let me double check. I've just opened up my thing so I could get this information. If I click on Starfield, I'm currently on 2 days and 6 hours and 11 minutes, which
40,
equates to 54 hours.
Yeah.
Over Fallout 4. This is aside from Skyrim, which we don't know because I played it on 360 and PC. So over the whole, I've probably played Skyrim more. So this is probably my second most played BGS game. Which in the grand scheme of things, these games are probably over 100 hours long, aren't they, if you're playing them complete.
Yeah.
You know, you're looking at between 50 and 100 hours, I reckon, on a BGS game.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I played it for 50, what did I say, 54, and that includes a lot, like exploration, a full clear down of the main story, and every faction quest. Not every side quest. I haven't done every side quest.
No.
And I haven't got involved with its settlement making, essentially their version of that.
Shipbuilding, got involved with that or not really?
I did do a bit of shipbuilding, yes. I have.
Did you build a giant cock?
I did try. I tried to make the cock out of Austin Powers.
Yes.
That's a giant Johnson. I do that, yeah. But again, I'm not one of those type. Like, I've never been a creative player.
No.
You know, if you get like, I think
soon get exposed
games,
to these games, don't you? When it
exactly,
requires
that's the thing.
Creatively, come always the same.
I like looking on there because like there's.
He likes
so many
looking
cool
at cocks,
things.
but he won't want to make one himself.
But I don't want. I couldn't handle one myself. You see. But no, there was lots of things on Twitter. Like people were making like fucking Star Wars ships and stuff, and
crazy.
saw like Mass Effect ones. I was like, cool, that is cool, but I don't have the creative brain to be able to pull that out. So if I can mod it, lovely. I'm sure you'll be able to. You'll be able to get them in straight away.
Absolutely.
But no, so yeah, that's what my 54 hours entailed. Hit me with questions.
In terms, don't have to do specifics. In terms of a narrative, from I guess what you played, so the main campaign which is present, there's normally a main quest in these games, and perhaps the faction missions and any other side smatterings that you partook in.
Yeah.
Good, bad, indifferent?
The best BGS story I've ever played, I'd say.
There you go.
And I say that in inverted commas because when comparing to other game franchise or other game companies, it's not a story that will grab you by the bollards and you're not left with a fuck me, that was different and weird.
Right, yeah.
But in terms of a Fallout, I've always found that's probably where that cost me on the Fallout franchise is that, if you told me what the Fallout 3 is about, I couldn't tell you. I couldn't remember.
No.
Same with 4. There was a dad, wasn't there, somewhere? Someone's looking for the dad. Was that 3?
That's 3, yeah.
That's 3, yeah. Then that wasn't what the game was about. That was there.
And you're looking for your son in 4.
That's it. Oh, that's the one, yeah. You come back.
They're like, think of a new idea. The son? Yes!
Yeah, we'll do that. Brilliant. It's your mum in 5.
Well, at least the dad was... who was the dad in 3? It was...
Was it Liam Neeson?
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, it was, wasn't it? Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, so they've never been... They've always just been this background to an exploring story, and the real story is going out and making your own and playing it as an RPG. Well, this has that, and the side stories were the best probably stories. There was certain quests in Starfield that I was like, oh, that's really fucking cool. That's awesome. I didn't anticipate stumbling that way, and I preferred the faction quests like that as a story. I found them more interesting, and certainly the missions as well a lot more interesting than the main story. The main story was pretty good because it starts with a lot of mystery, and you're like, right, what's going on? So you're sort of chucked into this world, and there's a lot of like, what the fuck am I doing? Why am I here? Why am I here? And it starts to unravel. Like you start to learn the story, and you get to know the bits and that. But it's all a mystery. But yeah, so I'd probably say it's definitely the best hyper story like this. But it's certainly serviceable and keeps you gripped throughout. However, without spoiling, I wouldn't say the conclusion was that I don't think I ever had that wow moment out of it.
Fair enough. On the faction front, this is something that I'm intrigued with.
Yeah.
Does it make... Because sometimes these factions are rivals in some way. I don't know if it's the case in Starfield. So how do they handle you doing all of them? Does it make sense that you were popping up or not?
The thing with me is I probably played this the wrong way. Whereas I was sort of I played these after the campaign.
Okay.
Well, I'll tell you another story why we can after the campaign. Because wanted to clear them down because there was like trophies and stuff.
Okay.
So I was playing. I joined a couple of. I think there was 4 in total, and I joined them. And yeah, they were rival companies. But there's no limit in this. You can literally join all 4 and do their missions. Although their stories don't cross. Yeah. I don't think they didn't cross, but their factions within the game. What was there? There was the Crimson Fleet, which were like the space pirates, which I found the best. I thought those were the best missions. It was like, because that's what I was trying to do. I was trying to play it as an RPG and trying to be a cunt.
Yeah,
so
right.
Like, always go for the bad answers and trying to get my man. They didn't have a morality system in this, but I was just trying to be a dickhead because I thought I want to be a space pirate, basically. Yeah. And then there was like the UC, which is the United Colonies, which is like sort of like a ranger. I don't know what they are really. You had a ranger. That was the other one. There was like you were like a sort of fucking cop basically.
Yeah.
the ranger, and then the one of them was like a there's like a military. That's it. Because there's an overarching story why we've left space and why they're all up in the sky.
Yeah.
And there was like a war, and that's why you have all these different factions. So you can play both sides of the war. Basically,
Right.
It's like you say, you are posing things, but the stories don't. From what I recall, they didn't sort of blend. Didn't sort of take you out of it, to say, as you'll be doing one mission and going, oh, we're gonna fuck these over, and then you're playing that side. It didn't seem to cross. They were their own separate sort of stories within the world, essentially.
Okay, so you could get away with doing it.
You could get away, and that's why I think
contextually it could have happened the way.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Was it with Fallout or with Skyrim? You couldn't join every faction in one playthrough.
Yes.
Did you?
So Fallout 4, I think you can initially join them all, but eventually you kind of have to choose. Between them in certain scenarios, and it's almost like a point of no return, which I kind of liked because I was like, okay, well, there's some meat on the bone here. I have to sort of decide out of these fucks which ones I like. But sounds like this one, at least you can experience it all without having to save and then come back and do that sort of stuff.
That's what I quite liked about this. But I definitely preferred those sort of elements and stories. But yeah, I probably did play them the wrong way because I sort of melded into them like naturally throughout the game. It's sort of, as a tutorial, it sort of shows you as to how to start one of the faction quests, and then I was like, oh right, and then I'd come across another one. I was like, oh, normally I'd walk off and go and do something else, but I was like, no, let's see if I can do it.
Yeah.
So join the other one. And then I found another one and started it. And I was like, oh, fuck. And then by the time I'd finished the story, I was like, well, I want to see everything that these have got to offer because I know these are...
He's starting faction quests and not finishing them. He's doing it with his games. He's just starting quest lines.
Way.
In
and
terms
then by the
of...
end...
Go on.
I should say, by the end, I was just literally going through the missions to get them. And I wasn't playing it as a sort of, I'd lost that RPG element by then. I was just playing the missions for what they were by then.
Yeah. In terms of, and this is just the game in general, in terms of like choice and consequence, might be difficult to, unless you've seen the other side of the coin, I guess, or read up or done things. Did it feel like you had enough agency or a satisfactory amount of agency for things like that, or not?
No, because I'll tell you one reason why, and it's probably the worst thing you can do to play this game. I also played a game just before this, a little tiny game called Baldur's Gate 3, which could possibly be the greatest RPG choice mechanics in any game ever.
Yes.
So coming from that to this, you really do notice the limitations in choice.
Right.
Like in terms of consequences and choice, there isn't a lot of consequences to your choices in this. It all seems to bleed. That's what I said. The main story is very linear.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure. I think there are variations on endings on this thing, but it's not. I don't believe. I could be wrong because I've only ever got one, but I don't think there's a great deal.
That is the question.
Well, exactly. There's not a great deal of different endings you can go. So it's quite. It is quite a linear story and a linear game. So in terms of consequences for your actions, there are multiple ways you can approach certain missions.
Yeah.
But in terms of full-on outcomes and decision choices, there's not a great deal. There are few, but it's very few and far between.
Interesting.
In terms of choices.
So you mentioned like that it's quite linear in terms of the main quest in itself. How does a typical play session of Starfield play out? Like, because one of the things I have heard is that it's not quite as expansive and as exploration heavy as what some people either wanted or were expecting.
Nah.
That rather than there being
Quest Simulator, I'd probably say to that question.
What did you say?
Fetch Quest Simulator.
Wow. So someone described, one of the analogies I heard was that Fallout and Elder Scrolls are like this big aquarium tank that you can go out and explore the aquarium and whatnot, and there's loads of different areas, little different biomes over here. It's all one seamless tank, whereas Starfield's like loads of little fish bowls, and you go from one fish bowl to another. And
I'd say that's a very accurate description, to be fair. But I'd also say those fish bowls literally have one fish in it and no fodder. They are small, empty fish bowls that I've been missold a product of space exploration, and that's non-existent throughout my time with this game and throughout the game. Fact.
Oh.
Yeah, I'd say that is one of its weakest points, Starfield, is the terms of exploration. There's a lot of fucking planets you can visit. You can visit as many as you want. There's up to 1,000, I think. There's 100 solar systems that you can enter, and they've all got multiple planets. You can land on every single planet. You go on that planet and you fucking walk around 50 miles, you'll see absolute fuck all. It is barren wastelands. I think each planet's got probably maximum of 5 settlements on it, like, or places to go, and in between there is nothing. There's a bit it has that No Man's Sky sort of what do you call, like when you're resourcing, like you could like fucking scan stuff, couldn't you? And you can take resources. It
like
has that on every
stuff.
planet, and that's it. And you have like a percentage on each planet you land on, that you sort of survey it. That's it, the surveys, that's it. So it tells you what sort of minerals are on the planet, and then you have like a list of the fauna and the different animals and plants and stuff. So you can go onto every planet and you can run around, jump around and scan this and that. But I on my playthrough, it's very rare that you come across anything worth noting, or you come across a random character, unless you fly to that planet and it tells you there's a settlement there. Go there to meet someone. So, I mean, there's very rare. There's a couple of planets where you can fly to for exploration. Like probably Earth's probably one of the best go to actually see stuff. But even that's very minimal. And I reckon about 98% of the planets are just barren wastelands.
Are you aware of them being barren wastelands before you land, or have you got to land to see it in the flesh?
No, you have to stand and see. Because what happens? You go to a solar system and you can scan. You can only scan, I think it's one planet out of it. And then what you can pinpoint. So you click onto like a solar system. This is all part of the thing. There's no seamless, like, as you mentioned before. There is no seamless flying. You cannot fly to anything. You fly to you. What's
I've
it
seen
called?
them dogfighting.
You can fly in space in that solar system
And then fly to the planet.
Can't fly to the planet.
But you can fly to it and then go in a menu and go to the planet.
Yeah. You don't fly. You warp to it. You know, like what they do in Star Wars.
Could you fly to it though?
You can fly to it, and there's nothing there.
No.
There is no flying to anything. No, everything in this game has a loading screen, and that is it.
So hang on.
What did I say was its worst feature? No, this is its worst feature. The exploration is a very bad point. The biggest bad point of this game is its loading screens. Everything you do has a loading screen in this game. Everything you enter, every planet you enter, every building you enter, every room you enter, you are met with a tiny, a black screen loading screen for everything. Nothing is seamless. There's no ship entry. You walk into the doors open of your ship. You go into your ship. There's a loading screen. This is how you get to a planet. I'm on a planet.
Yeah.
Go to my ship. I walk to my ship. The ship door opens. I get on my ship. I go up the door, the little airlock. There's a loading screen to get into there. Get into my ship. Get out, walk to my seat, the cockpit. I get on my seat. There's a loading screen to look at the planet map.
No,
Look at the planet solar system. I press X to take off. It's a cutscene flying up. There's a loading screen to get into space. I'm in space. I look at a planet. Click a button to go into the planet. I find a landstone. I press land. There's a cutscene met by a loading screen. I then land on the planet by a cutscene. I then have another cutscene and then have another loading screen to get off my ship and onto the planet.
And then you get to walk around the barren wasteland.
And then I get to go walk in. Then I walk in. I walk to my destination. It's in a building. I go through the door. I press X. It's a cutscene. A loading screen to get in the building.
Can you fully explore the planets?
You cannot fully explore a planet. No, you are limited to, I don't know, it's a certain mileage.
It's like something square meters, is it, that you can...
Square meters from as far from where your ship's landed. Remember, like you had it a bit in No Man's Sky. I think you couldn't fast travel back, could you, if you were so far away?
Yeah, I think there was...
This has like a sort of wall in it that you can't go. There's a point of no return where it's like you can't go any further. You have to. You'll just get walked back to your thing. So if you had, you can scan the planet. So you have two different settlements. On one side, you have a research factory and a science, blah blah blah. Up here, you couldn't land there and walk to the other one. It won't let you. You have to come out go back up into space, and then land at the other one and go and get it. Which that is poor when you're saying a space exploration game, and you've got that jetpack on you as well, just like the whole thing. You're in 0G space. Some of these planets. You can fly about whatever you want, double jump. You can't do that. You've got to go through these fucking screens to get there.
5 screens to go from the research
and
base.
It really did take me out of it. And
yeah.
I mean, it's a shame because, again, there was foundations for what could be a fucking the space exploration game.
Absolute baller.
They had it. You got the first person, third person, actually, an RPG where you can really play as you like. You've got these factions you can join.
Combat good, up to snuff.
Combat is good. I'll give it that. Yeah, the gunplay, the variety in gunplay as well is quite good. There's different variations of guns. You got swords. I can't remember if there was swords. There was random weapons. You had you could actually use like a fucking laser thing, like what you'd mineral cut, and you could hurt people with that. That was quite weird. There was it's basically just guns. The baseball bats and stuff. I don't think there was. But the melee's not very good, to be honest. There's not a great deal. There is another added thing to combat which I can't discuss because it's a spoiler. That I'll just say that's something that does add to combat, which does increase it slightly. But
there's a symbiote. Venom's come to town. A crossover with Spider-Man.
Does that? You've got what's it called? Arkham Batman levels of fucking combos you can do. But ultimately it comes down to that gunplay. And to be fair, that did hold up pretty well, to be honest. Especially for
a BGS game, that's
exactly. It's probably one of the best one, and like I say, it's very versatile in its sort of variations in types of guns. You know, you've got rifles, shotguns, pistols, lasers, all sorts of gizmos going on, and it's very customizable. Everything can be modded. This is within the game, not actual mods. I'm sure the whole game has been modded to shit now, but lots of customizations you can do with it. Like the ship builder on its own is incredible. That's worth mentioning as a whole. The stuff you can do with that and the parts you can take out. You have different levels of it's like classes of ships. So if you take a section out, it then becomes a different class ship. You can go further with some ships than you can't. Some are better for combat. So you can have like a garage of up to 10. I think it's up to 10 ships you can have, so you can constantly swap them out. Again, the foundations are there for the greatest space exploration RPG ever. It was just restricted with limitations of. I don't know why. With the fucking power of that fucking. Xbox Series X, the years they've had making this game, with games like God of War, where you've got a fucking seamless game without a single loading screen.
You just think that the 1,000 planets just seems unnecessary.
Yeah, I didn't need it. Just make 20, but 20. Make them. Even that would have been much better. Yeah, much better. It was just it's quantity over quality is what I'd say this game is. They've tried to make it expansive as it could be. They've gone, look, there's 1,000 planets, but you will not explore those 1,000 because there's fuck all on there and you'll get bored.
You get fucking sick of it. I'll cycle back to this actually, I should have asked at the beginning. Character creation, in terms of setting up your space pirate Adkins' new timeline, horrible bastard,
Horrible bastard.
What's the depth of the character creator like? Setting up your traits and things like that.
That's the thing, yeah. I'd say that's quite limited, to be honest.
Oh.
In terms of the traits, the appearance, what's it called? The appearance customization, very vast, very, very expansive. Probably one of the best character creators of it, certainly in a BGS game.
Yeah.
And quite possibly in one of any sort of RPG game. Very good, very different options. But in terms of traits and making a backstory for your thing,
You can put your parents on there and go visit them.
Yeah,
Put a bullet in their head.
What was that? Cyberpunk was really good actually for that. Cyberpunk had a thing because you had different classes. You have classes, but if I remember rightly, that you had like perks.
Yeah.
And when you pick those perks, that tailors your story.
Yeah.
So one of my I was an Earth-ridden rat or whatever.
Yeah.
Someone that come from Earth, come from the sewers, and turned into a pirate. But then the only options I could do, there was like these storylines that interjected into your character.
Yeah.
And then it was like a perk. So it was like, if you want to be this, I don't know, this bastard or whatever that has this, you've now got your oxygen will be low for certain aspects. I was like, oh, hang on, what?
Hold on a minute.
Why has that happened? So in the end, I only done it for an achievement thing. Was that I had every time I walked into a room or like a certain building, I had this adoring fan come up to me. Have you seen that? He's in loads of the games.
Yeah.
But that wasn't my choice. That was the story I wanted. But it was tailored to that thing. So I was a bit like, oh. I'm sort of having to go for this. And there was like another section of choices where I was like, oh, I'm only choosing this because I want that perk. It's not that I want that story.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to get the best perk because this certain class is better with these are the type of weapons I want to use. I couldn't have that class be that pirate and have a different story. They attached the stories to those classes. And I was like,
Okay. Can you respec at all during the game?
You can, yeah, throughout the game, yeah, you can respec, and you can even, there's a place where you can go and completely change your character.
Yeah.
You can do, yeah. I've got to say, they did give you, there weren't limitations on that. What was I think if there was a skill tree, wasn't there?
I'd imagine.
That's the trouble. My brain's starting to go. I think there was. It might have been bare bones. Let me just double check.
Must have been a skill tree.
So I was just thinking, it must have been. Yeah, it must have. Yeah, of course it was. Yes, yeah. Yeah, that's right. You had all the different. Yeah, of course you did. That's right. Oh, fucking hell, Jesus. There was loads of different. Yeah, so you had all different things. You could have like ship things. Then you had like a tech thing. So you'd have like the lock picking skill. I'll just put that in. The lock picking system in this is brilliant. It's really good.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know, one of the best. Which BGS games is pretty much known for this. But yeah, no, the skill trees was good, to be fair. I think, did they have it in other games where they had like the ranks? You had like a skill, and then you could get like, I think it's up to 4, rank it up to each thing. So I did that a lot. One of the ones I done the first straight off the bat was the overcumbering. Weight carrying, because everything, like these games I play like fucking Borderlands, so I just pick up everything, and in this game you can pick up literally everything, but it's all fucking junk. You don't need it. So I didn't realise. I was like, oh well, I'll just sell it. It's worth fuck all. So I just picked up everything, and I'm like overcumbered like some big fucking mess that can't jump anywhere. So yeah, I was a bit like, that's a shame.
That's a stinker. I want to get into the technical side of things, because bug Bethesda is always the term chucked out of the boys and girls over at BGS. In terms of overall, I mean, you mentioned the presentation's nice, so that's a nice tick in the box.
Yeah,
but
I've got to say,
performance and bugs and things like that, all good on that front?
I've got to say, performance-wise, albeit 30 FPS, a consistent 30 FPS, I say. There was never any real, like fucking Breath of the Wild where you go into that little thing, you're like, well, this is 30 FPS, this can't be any lower. Yeah. And then you'll go into that forest and go, fuck me.
Yeah.
There wasn't any of that. There was no tanking or anything, and it weren't dodgy at all. I've got to say, it's probably one of the least buggiest Bethesda games I've ever played, to be honest. I remember loads of like missions, characters fucking doing T poses,
Fucking
characters wouldn't be quest bugs as well.
Yeah, used to
They wouldn't be
fucking-
there, or they fuck
Yeah.
up and go somewhere else. You'd be like, what is going on? I didn't run into many at all of them. Like there probably was the odd little bit here and there, but throughout I don't remember any standing out. So I'd say it's definitely the unbuggiest. However, albeit that I did have one ultimate bug that is still not been resoluted, and that is a crash every time I finish the game.
It's just
I have no idea. I actually need to Google that now and see if there's been any update. This is a thing it's on the Bile Factory. Starfield credits crash. So I complete the game.
yeah.
The credits roll. I see the end cutscene. Credits go, and I get a crash to desktop. And there's been 3 patches since, and I've tried it every time, and it still does the same. So I cannot get into New Game Plus,
No.
which I've been told is where the real game starts.
Wow. This is this would really irritate me. I mean, it's just me. That would. I know you get the achievement, haven't you? You popped the
popped the
achievement.
achievement.
Well, you didn't actually
Yeah.
pop it, did you? It just did it.
No,
in
it
the
just
back end.
it was on there.
You turned it on.
It crashed. It crashed. It must have done it in that split second. But where it crashed, didn't get it because I was on the desktop. I was like, oh fuck.
So it's crashing each time. So you can't see the credits. You can't activate New Game Plus.
See the first. I see Todd's name come up, director.
That's
Todd
all we
gets
wanted.
to
So
the
it's
middle
intentional.
of the screen, and then the music stops, and I know it's going to happen, and then boom, it's gone.
It craps out. So
Can't even. There's no button to skip it, so I can't skip
can
it.
you
And
skip
go,
through it and get into it.
Nah.
So when you go to do that, how much? I mean, you have to play through a whole mission, or have you got like a save that's right before the end, and you've got to interact with something or do whatever you've got to do?
Yeah.
Like it's.
Let's try and do this the least boring way. There is.
You got to do something. How long does it take?
Got to do something. The section before the credits roll is about a minute.
Okay, so you've only got to
So
redo
you
that.
have to, yeah.
Okay.
You have the option because you do something.
Yeah.
It's on this thing. I get this message say go and do this. Basically, this point of no return.
Okay.
It's not like a whole mission. It's just
No.
literally a cutscene. And then you enter the New Game Plus and that's when the credits roll and the new game starts. Is after that, but I cannot get to that point.
You can't get
So
past
I
it
do
to
not
save
know.
and start. See,
What I've done is because I was told that this New Game Plus is like the best thing ever.
Yeah.
I have then since looked at that New Game Plus to find out what it is, but I cannot get to that New Game Plus, and that is from a bug.
So having seen what New Game Plus is, and again we'll bat
Yeah.
around the bush and the details. Is it the all singing and all dancing ultimate?
I
Worth
was
what?
to say I was very let down with what I was like. That's what was the most infuriating thing is that I couldn't get there because I was told that this was where the game started. This is the most interesting thing they've done with a New Game Plus. I want to know what these people are thinking. I really do because I get what they mean. Like it's a variation on a New Game Plus. It's not a fucking unique one.
Right.
By any stretch of the imagination. Certainly in other aspects of media of what's going on now. So yeah, I don't know what they're doing. I was expecting a lot more.
Yeah.
That's probably the theme of this game. I was expecting to be blown away, and a lot more to what was said. And was like, oh, is that it? Oh, okay. And in that case, I'm not really that bothered about going to That's what. If they patched it tomorrow and I could get to New Game Plus, I'll do that, and I wouldn't play it again.
Okay, so you wouldn't be interested
based on what I've seen. Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Fair enough. It's difficult, isn't it, when the hype of something is like this? This is good, and what makes the hype even bigger is because this is a first party exclusive now. Whether people care to admit it or not, they have more pressure on them. It's just a fact.
Yeah.
And the highs are higher, but then if they don't meet the highs,
very high. The highs are very high. I've also got to say, I haven't really mentioned on the mission structures. There were some excellent missions that were different in terms of BGS games, there was a lot of fetch quest missions in this. There's a lot of go here, do this, go here, get this. Lots of dialogue where I was just thinking, fuck me, this bloke just will not stop talking about stuff I don't care. It didn't get to the levels of Horizon where I was skipping dialogue just to get through it. But there is a lot of them. I dread to think how much voice acting was recorded for this game, because there is a lot of information. But yeah, there was a lot of fetch quest simulators. Go here, there was sections of the game. There'll be ones where a bunch of missions. I don't know if it was just the way I was playing, like the choices of missions I was choosing to go here instead of there. There was hours. I reckon there was a section where I played in the game for at least 5 or 6 hours where there was no combat whatsoever. It was just purely talking to people, searching for stuff. Take this thing to go here. Go to this mission and speak to this bloke. There was no. It was. I remember thinking, "Fuck, man, I haven't shot anything," and I because that's the leveling system's. It's quite sparse in terms of level. I think even now, like I'm only level 30. I think I was by the end of the game. I was like, you can go up to 100. I was like, fuck me.
Well, that's what New Game Plus is there for.
Exactly. Yeah. So,
assuming you can carry over your stat. I mean, that's the whole point of New Game Plus. So I'd imagine that's part of it. But
yeah, in terms of combat, I was like, fuck me. There's very rare combat, and the main way you get XP up is by killing people.
Yeah.
XP thing.
Can't you not go and pick a fight out in the space and just start like attacking ships or? Ship combat up to snuff? Because that's an element.
The ship combat is great. It's very reminded me a lot of Battlefield. It's very reminiscent of that, to be fair. Even like the lock-on target is quite hard. Some of it actually.
Yeah.
You have to really do keep on top of like upgrading the ships, and there was like perks as well. I noticed that as well. Some of the skill trees. I was so fucking obsessed with getting my weight thing up so I could do that. I was missing out on upgrading my ships. There's so like I'd do more damage, or I'd be able to pinpoint different sections on ships and stuff. So it was almost like a role play thing. You had to become like a ship specialist rather than being like a better shooter or a sort of more refined, or if you was going to go for the stealth approach, which you can do in this game, which it gives you the choice. You can certainly go through a stealthy approach. You can go through silent mode. You can sort of. There's no VATS in this game, which was sorely missed because that's fucking brilliant. But you can sort of sneak your way around, and you can get silenced weapons so you can take people out. But I went full on guns blazing and clear down.
Take them to the fucking clean, as he said.
Yeah, take the cleans. But yeah, I've got to say the mission structure. There was a few. Like I say, probably the best ones were the faction quest, and certainly the pirate faction quest that I did. What I enjoyed the most. But the main story that probably had the most like different variations in the stories. But the most of it there was a lot of walking through barren wastelands and talking to boring NPCs and. There's a few interesting characters. Companions are quite fun.
Yeah,
you have the.
Can they die or they just get downed in combat?
No, they just get down.
Yeah, because in Fallout 3, they die.
Oh, do they?
And that's it. They're gone. And I always like that jeopardy. Like I always tell the story about Dogmeat, the little dog. I didn't want it to die, so I put it in my little house that I had in Megatron and left it there for the game. Just used to go back and visit it because I couldn't bear the thought of like a raider chucking a grenade at it and blowing Dogmeat to smithereens. True. Whereas in Fallout 4, they just go down and then you can actually heal them and get them up. And I was a bit like, well, you've lost the jeopardy. And I know they tie like quests into them and stuff, so they don't want them dying and whatnot. But
I had one where I was mentioned earlier where I started a quest. I started like the. I think it was like Vanguard or something like that. Or Ranger quest, I think it was. And it was on a mission where they sent me with someone else.
Yeah.
And because I didn't carry on that quest line, I went off and done the main quest. So I had that companion with me, and then I had my actual companion with me. So I was just roaming around with two companions. It was brilliant. And it didn't ever go like, you can only take one.
Did the bloke ever say, hang on a minute, we're a million miles away from me.
Companion.
I've said to the wife I'll be back at dinner time.
Exactly. Companions are pretty cool. Like they each have their own traits and stuff, and then you can assign them jobs as well. You can either make settlements and send them to there. you can keep them on the ship to do stuff, or you can have them out in the field.
Put them
with
in
you.
the sweatshop if they're not up to snuff.
Yeah. But yeah, I didn't really get involved in the settlement making. It looked quite expensive, but I don't know why. I was just sort of by that I wanted to get the story done and
Yeah.
get going. But yeah, I've got to say the missions thing, lots of which you do find in Bethesda games. There are a lot of fetch quests and a lot of talking. But no, there's some good things, and a lot of this game is it's the unknown, like you don't know. It is that sort of mystery of the game. You're like, oh, I wonder what this is, and unfortunately, by the sort of end of it, I can only say sort of underwhelmed by what's the thing. I was like, oh right, okay. Not in terms of story, but just like in terms of the exploration. It's like, oh, that wasn't what I thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
The cutscene thing, oh, that's not what I thought it was going to be.
Whose fault's that? Is it yours, or is it this big showcase that showed it off being the bee's knees?
Well, that's it. Yeah, I don't really know. I mean, I'm guessing it's Todd's fault because.
Or is it that other BGS games had a level of exploration and? You know,
that's the thing. I think we're sort of been poisoned a bit by how vast them other games are.
Yeah.
That you expect that level of it, but the biggest thing was that he did sell this to us as a space exploration game, and it is not a space exploration game at all. It's a space RPG game.
Yeah.
But it is not an exploration game by any stretch.
So don't be expecting that.
Nah.
If you go into this. Any other business before we do the needful?
Music. Soundtrack, incredible, very good, very good. I haven't said that. The music that's in, it's very.
Oh no, Spider-Man. That is. I've got that in mind.
It's very Fallout-esque, which again was always good, wasn't it? That sort of thing when the missions when the shit kicks off, it kicks in. Yeah, the little music, that sort of soft music that plays as you're exploring.
Spider-Man again. I can't get it out.
It's. But no, it was very good. Music good. Faces look weird still. It's weird
I
because
saw some of this.
there's so many.
They look better, but
they look better. But there's so many. I'm like, what is going on with that face? I don't know why they really fucked up faces.
I mean, I've seen the some of the Baldur's Gate stuff, and when the characters interact, like the facial animations on that game, and like the mannerisms. And I've recently played Burning Shores of Horizon, and they're like fucking ace.
Yeah, they were goats at that, weren't
and
they?
Bethesda's always been like, hello, my name's Charlie.
It is such a shame. But yeah, it's I'd say a bit of a damn. But I've got to say, straight off the bat, I remember the first bit of tutorial you go, I was like, fuck me, this is very good looking game. It is a nice looking game. The interiors in different sort of buildings and settlements and stuff. The cities itself, they're fucking huge, and different areas you can go to. And yeah, the things you can do in it, like you try and be like a little shit and you can get put in prison. Yeah, you go somewhere, you steal something off it. There's like contraband you can steal and shit. There's a whole little game within there. There's loads you can do in this game. But ultimately, the space exploration, which you want to do the most, is the weakest point of the game, and it's a damn shame. Yeah, it's a damn shame. But yeah, I think my overall experience, it was enjoyable. I did enjoy my time with it, and it very much is a Bethesda game. I think a Bethesda game lover, like if you liked Fallout and you liked Skyrim and whatnot, you will enjoy this game.
Yeah.
But if you're going into this game, this is Xbox is God of War. This is their Last of Us. When you compare the polish and wow factor you get off those games, it just doesn't have that upper echelon thing for me. It's a cut beneath. It's a good game. It'd be interesting to see if they do carry this on as a franchise and build upon it, because they certainly can if they get that exploration there.
Yeah.
Like I say, the story in that was serviceable and good for a BGS story. The factions and stuff, they can definitely increase that. if they turn it into more of an exploration game and build upon what they've already got,
There's a
then it
chance.
certainly could be. It could be a decent franchise and a very good game. Because I mean, this did review well, didn't it? Was it currently on about an 87, 86, was it?
That's it, yeah.
88? Something like that.
86.
Yeah, 86. But ultimately, for me, it was just held back a bit by its lack of exploration, its cutscene, which really took me out of the immersion. It frustratingly takes you out of the immersion. There's no need for it in this day and age. I don't know why they decided that. The whole performance thing is annoying, but it wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be, to be honest. Like, when they said it was going to be a 30 FPS, I was like, fuck. But I did find myself like, it's all right, actually. It's not the end of the world.
It's not really a Twitch shooter as such. So
No, exactly. So that was fine. Yeah, just
you can complete the game.
No, a bit more mission variety, maybe I'd say. But what can you do in a game? Like, you're not going to have big, uncharted set pieces or anything like that in a game like this, where you're first person or third person. And the customization is there in terms of shipbuilding, in terms of how you want to scope your character. The sort of customization on your story is quite limited, but you certainly can play as an RPG and make your own character. So yeah, overall, very good. Not perfect, but a very enjoyable time. Worth recommended. I'd certainly will put this in the gallery.
No bin then. The botchling bin has
No
been
bin
avoided.
to the botchling bin. And my Starfield review gets a silver.
That's where I had it. See? That's where I'd guessed beforehand.
Yeah.
I was thinking, I don't think it's going to be a gold. I don't think it's going to be a bronze. I think it'll be a solid silver, and that's what it's turned out to be. So Starfield earns itself a nice silver. We're going to close down this edition of Idle Game Chat. So nothing more for us to say, other than thanks for your time, and ta-da.
This was a Dimp Digital production.